Okay, so to close out my look at the comics before the show starts back up, here's my review of Zen and the Art of the Gazebo Repair. The 300 subscriber special.
Remember this day, man, or it will be yours for all time.
Man, did this work out conveniently. So why did I pick this of all the comics I could have closed out on? It's my favorite. Yeah, there's really not much need for me to beat around the bush here. I read pretty far into the series, and this is the one story that thoroughly knocked it out of the park for me. So, yeah, this probably won't be my usual style review with me saying that up front, but I'm flexible. So what's our story here? Big Macintosh, looking to repair the farm's gazebo, sets out to buy some nails, only to find his path blocked by the entire summer wrap-up festival and the many, many distractions inside. So yeah, this is where the comics start trying their hand at more slice-of-life stories. But if you're wondering what makes this one so special, for one, the fact that it's Big Mac. They seriously couldn't have picked anyone better for a story about a character forced into having their own little adventure. I could maybe see them trying something similar with Fluttershy down the line, but the difference is, she would make it more about struggling with her own insecurities, making everything that happens a big conflict. With Big Mac at the helm, we're always looking forward to the next thing that happens, not least because it lets us really get to know him for the first time. I mean, seriously, no other character on this show has been more consistently likable, yet totally in the dark. The most telling thing we ever found out about Big Mac is that he's shy, and that was told to us by someone else. Nobody's quite sure what to think of him, and some people even seem to assume that he doesn't talk much because he's not very smart. But not only does that contradict the hints we've gotten that he's actually kind of thoughtful and intuitive, I'd have to say it's really a lot more common for the dumbest people you know to also be the loudest. But in that case, why is he always either by himself or with his family in a show where pretty much everyone has earned at least a few good friends, and playing second fiddle to his little sister what's more? Well, the first thing we learn here is that he's actually perfectly happy with his quiet farm life, and isn't all that comfortable with stuff he doesn't normally do. In fact, a lot of the comedy here comes from the fact that he's trying to get away from the festival but keeps getting dragged into something else. And even more importantly, he's an introvert. Not in the way that Fluttershy's an introvert, he's not overly nervous around other ponies or anything, he's just more comfortable letting other people set the pace, and sparing their feelings when he could say something confrontational. Though sometimes it's to his own detriment, like in this scene here where he gets roped into watching the babies for Mr. and Mrs. Cake. But yeah, what he says out loud is usually a very abridged version of what he's actually thinking. That doesn't make him some kind of brilliant philosopher or anything, but he is a decent, thoughtful, level-headed guy. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, who wouldn't be lucky to know him? Except, that's kind of the thing about being an introvert. It's not easy for him to share what he has to offer, even when it might benefit him. Sometimes it really is good to be pushed out of your shell a little bit. And that's kind of what this story is about. And let me tell you, between a guy as likable as Big Mac and just about the wildest carnival ever not to feature anything supernatural, almost, it's about as much fun as it could be. Watching him play off all the characters he runs into is a great time, especially with how out of his element he is. The festival setting turns out to be a great platform for Bulk Biceps, Diamond Tiara, the Cutie Mark Crusaders, Spike, Photo Finish, and even Sapphire Shores, who, in one of my favorite bits, accidentally puts Big Mac in her show, where he tries to spot the hardware guy, and accidentally starts Equestria's newest dance craze, the Navigator. Oh, and a lot of you are probably waiting for me to get to this part, where Princess Luna enters the festival games, hoping to make some nice memories to put the last adventure behind her, and picks Big Mac out of the crowd as her team partner. As you'd expect, she pretty much steals the show, from her competitive streak to her Blame My Sister shirt, but the surprise is that the introvert and the extrovert actually go pretty well together, alternately showing signs of getting to like each other, until the classic moment where she kisses him on the Ferris wheel later that night. That's not to say that they're always on the same page, though, like in the pie-eating contest where Big Mac is hindered by his hatred of cherry pie. Seriously, this image is probably worth it by itself. I mean, why does everyone always want me to notice the times we've seen him with Cheerilee? This is so much cuter. Although there better not be some kind of Team Luna, Team Cheerilee thing in the fandom, or I will forever rue the day I said anything. But it's not just a matter of Big Mac colliding with big personalities. For one, with the festival as the backdrop, the background gags are better than ever here. Not all of them depend on fan service, for one, which adds both variety and a new layer of humor, but the ones that do are still a lot of fun and not too hard to spot. I especially like the various points where we see different members of the main six telling everyone about their adventures. Also, a lot of the carnival scenery as drawn just really goes a long way in making it seem like a good time, which turns out to be more important than you'd think. Because for everything it throws at us, the heart of the story really is Big Mac. You grow to like him very quickly as the story goes on, both for how kind yet taken for granted he is, and for how resilient he is. Not that he's uber determined or some kind of Pinkie Pie optimist, but he's not a wallow in self-pity kind of guy. And his own quirks, like his physical strength, his facial expressions, and his nonverbal quips to himself, allow him to hold his own against pretty much everyone he runs into, entertainment-wise. By the end, you really do want to see things work out for him. It's about time that he and the rest of the world got a piece of each other. He's got plenty to offer. So when he finally decides to just go out and enjoy himself, with some help from Sakura, it feels like a full story with a true feel-good ending has been told. Plus, there's the hilarious twist I won't spoil, which isn't completely happy, but definitely makes it a good thing that he was nowhere near the gazebo during the festival. Now, I wouldn't have expected this to be my favorite ahead of time, but in hindsight I think it makes sense. The comics deserve a lot of credit here for taking advantage of what the show set up with Big Mac's character, something that's long overdue from the show itself. But at the same time, with the option of thought bubbles, it almost works better in comic form. And this time, the nature of the story allows the comics a lot of room to breathe and do what they do best, without being rushed or sloppy with the story or the continuity. It's exactly what you'd want a concurrent comic series to bring to the table. Not much else to say, but do the Navigator.
When I'm watching, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who's working hard for you. And when the money comes in for the work I do, I'll pass almost every penny on to you. When I come home, oh, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home to you. And if I broke, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's going over you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more if there be a man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down that shoe toe.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, succumb to peer pressure and do it anyway. And if you'd like to watch another video in this series, click the link on the right. Otherwise, just check the description for more links, and I'll see you next time.